It is 102.7 Mom FM and Hot Country Hits 99.9. And we visit with him on a regular basis. Today, no different. We talk with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance. Erin, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Great to see your face, man.
Hey, thanks. Same here. And
Thank
got a
you.
little tan there. It was, I don't know, to
You too,
compare
do
tan
you?
a
Yeah,
little
okay.
bit.
We can
No, it's all
compare.
right. But no, it's good to connect with you. And I know you've continued to stay busy because, well, not only are you serving individuals and community members there, Ludington, Scottville, across Mason County, but also across the state.
Yes.
Because as an insurance agent, and I don't, is that a all insurance agents can do this, or do you have to have a certain license? What's that like?
Yeah, certain companies have restrictions on their agents in terms of geographical territory.
Mhm.
State Farm is real open to the state licensing. So for State Farm agents, when they're licensed in the state of Michigan, we can do insurance of that kind uh, anywhere, literally in the state borders. And even more interesting enough, as recent years, the State Farm agents are getting licensed in other states, not just for life and health insurance, but also property and casualty, home and auto in other states. In fact, I know a Northern Michigan agent who is licensed to do home and auto in 8 states.
Wow.
Wow, man, keeping track of all those laws.
Yeah. Is it because there is is there not enough agents out there? Is that part of the thought process?
Yeah, I think it kind of relates back to when we get into our topic today is just having a really good team. And what State Farm has been noticing over the last 10 to 15 years especially is really good teams um, really are created over time with a lot of intentionality and a lot of purpose. And those teams that are really successful consistently are successful. And
Mhm.
so what State Farm has found is they are and have been for about 15 years allowing agents to have a second and now even a third office
Mm.
with their name. So this
Yeah.
means separate agency code, separate agency number run as a separate business. So literally, how State Farm looks at them is basically you are three in one if you have three offices.
Mhm.
And so there are agents in Northern Michigan that have two offices. The agent in Cadillac, Derek, also has an office in Big Rapids, for example.
Mhm.
And so he literally has a completely different staff. And what State Farm has found is those good agents and agencies can reproduce better than a raw new agent with new team members and taking somebody, even if they have experience in another company, is taking them raw new. It's just the build up period is, 2, 3 years compared to virtually almost hit the ground running. And that makes a huge difference.
And you are not immune to any agent, obviously, is not immune to staffing
Hmm.
concerns and issues that happen out there. We tend to see kind of a different mindset in some cases in regards to those that are working or looking for work or remote work versus in office, and it very much changes from business category to business category, and obviously from community to community. So it's very different that we are kind of a life that we're in these days.
Hmm. Hmm.
You have a solid staff there, but you are always, adding to it. Sometimes people come and go, like every business. I know from the radio station standpoint, from retail to restaurant to everything, and it takes a quality person to be great, and sometimes it takes time, right?
Yeah, it does. I think it really comes, from top down, even if you have a flat organization, Chris. I mean, my perspective is, if you are really doing your best as an owner, as an employer, to do the best you can, to day, and try to continually to get better, that's a very, very key component. And then, even if you have people come and go, having really high similarities in terms of work ethic,
Mhm.
in terms of values, in terms of desire just to be a good person or do the right thing when nobody else is looking. Those people are the people you want on your teams. And when you have people, they're the best resource for the future and for who you are today. And it can change. And I think that can be frustrating because people like consistency with employees and the people that they call for their, products and services. But as employers and business owners, we all know that this is a super challenging market, continues to be. Many people are gainfully employed, and just to find the right people at the right time can be
Mhm.
extremely challenging. I found that I have to improve my effort in networking. I have to
Mhm.
improve my effort in communication and in recruiting and having good conversations and even saying, "Hey, do you know somebody that is like this, with these characteristics, that, for us, it's a kind of an interesting combination. We have to have each person be really high people oriented
Mhm. Mhm.
and detail oriented. And again, that's specifically to our industry, but that's a really hard, it's not a unicorn,
Mhm.
but it's a really hard for people to be able to do both well. They have to be pretty darn right and left brain. So,
Mhm.
we're talking specifically about insurance and financial services. But that's pretty common in any service industry. We have to have people that can get stuff done and understand and get it right and be kind, be considerate, be straightforward, tell them how it is in a respectful way. And that's challenging to do, to find great teams like that. But that is our focus, right, Chris? We are
Yeah.
trying to be those kind of people that have those kind of teams.
I always wondered about that, and I'm glad you brought it up. Is when it comes to those conversations with, potential customers, with current clients and customers, there, uh, how straightforward do you have to be? I mean, insurance is pretty real. There is life and death when it comes to
Yeah.
insurance and so many other factors in between. Do you have to? And I say this kind of off the cuff, but do you sugarcoat it a little bit, or is it pretty real?
Yeah, what I found over the years, it's better to be vulnerable and transparent and share really honestly from the heart and mind the best you can. This is the way that it is.
Mhm.
And here's where we've been, maybe in a situation that's gone AWire. Here's where we're at today, and here's what we're doing to fix it to make it better.
Mm.
And we know that we didn't do well in this space. This team member that I had or have currently, they understand the severity of a situation related to insurance and these things. And we're making it and correcting it. So, we have to be in our business in insurance and financial service, we've got to be 99.875 correct and
Mhm.
do it the right way the first time,
Mhm.
virtually every single time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so when we have a little mistake, like we found one today,
Mhm.
so I called the lady and I said, "Hey, I'm getting up to speed from my office manager, from the team member who made this mistake.
Mhm.
And we've corrected it. Thank goodness there wasn't a claim. But I want you to be confident and know that, first of all, I'm sorry it happened. I apologize. They understand what they did wrong. And two, you know, I don't say this very often, but we have I have a large errors and omissions policy. If
Mhm.
it came to a serious injury, serious property damage situation on your situation, we would have taken care of it. I
Hmm.
have insurance for our mistakes, and my staff is covered for that.
Hmm. You have insurance for insurance
I
when you think
do.
about it.
I have
Absolutely.
insurance for us messing up
Yeah.
and doctors and dentists and
Mhm.
accountants and
Yeah.
attorneys, we all have errors and omissions policies, you know, at least the ones that are the best
Mhm.
that pay for that premium, they have protection in case they make a mistake.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Let's talk a little bit about more in depth on today's topic, which is finding the right people, being able to because this really does it can be anybody sitting in that owner's chair or that manager's chair or the HR department and being able to say, okay, the qualifications that we're looking for: positive people, and positive influence on the customers, on other staff members. Let's talk about that, and then kind of dive into a little bit of the emotional support that's also needed in any or every work environment.
I think a lot of answers in that space, and owners will say, well, yeah, that's right. You can say that, and there's other major elements, but I'm going to say attitude first. That's a positive influence, your attitude and the consistency of it. So anybody can sell themselves in an interview. So the challenge for a manager, human resources, or an owner is, okay, who really is this person, and understand them clearly. Are they consistently having a better than average attitude, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's got a down day or a bad situation that they're dealing with. We often know that if somebody's comes into the office and is struggling with something, it's not always with us per se, it's something else going on in their life.
Mhm.
And people that are able to, and staff and people you're looking at considering hiring, in general that they're just going to have mostly a positive influence in life, and an outlook, and so that their work reflects that. And other people that you ask around town, when we're in a small town like we have, is like, what do you think of so and so? How do you know them? How long have you known them? And it's really nice when you have those networks that you can be able to actually call people that know other people that aren't even on their references. I mean, I
Mhm.
love to call people that know this person or
Mhm.
find out who knows this person. And I think that's really, really important because you get the true sense of, is this going to be a good person for our team?
Yeah. And especially when that person is interacting then with your customers. Those are people that know people and have friends and family and referrals that come from it, especially in the insurance industry too. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance, right there between Ludington and Scottville on US 10. And emotional, healthy relationships, going down that road, as well as uh, having individuals that you can provide some constructive feedback. Take us through those three elements, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think healthy relationships really come across in the conversation with the person, especially when you ask about their background. I
Hmm.
think that's a really good question to ask. So, whether that would be, and it could be too long ago, right? If there's somebody that's a little bit older, about their high school experience, or perhaps their college experience, or walk me through like what you were going through. What did it look like on your first job?
Hmm.
What do you remember about it? And so for me, what I'm liking to hear is constructive criticism where, is it real? Like, do they paint a picture that it puts them in a place where, you know, this is what I learned. This is what I overcame. Some of my attitudes weren't the best. If I could talk to my previous self back then, here's some things that I would encourage them to do and give them that feedback of my younger self. And I think that's a powerful thing. When people are responding in the healthy relationships that they've had in the past and can describe that, and I consider a healthy relationship not all, peaches and cream. It's not,
Hmm.
I don't want to be painted a picture, looking through rose-colored glasses. I want to know like reality, like give me the real scoop of who
Yeah.
you are, who you were. And granted, I think the better questions can be like, tell me, what did you do and how did you overcome whatever in the last year or two? But
Mhm.
history matters. History in older relationships and the feedback I can get from, that kind of thing. And give me something constructive. Give
Mhm.
me something that gives me an understanding of like how they learned from their mistakes, how they got better in this space.
Yeah. Um, when it comes to confidence,
Hmm.
uh, sometimes there's ego or chip on the shoulder or that sort of idea. How do you define or be able to break through and find a, the confidence in that particular person versus all of the other stuff that comes with it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because I think it goes both ways. You can be overly confident and cocky and come across inappropriately in a situation, and sometimes you can undersell yourself. Most people
Mhm.
wouldn't do that necessarily in an interview, but again, it gets back to, well, who is this person and how are they representing?
Mhm.
Like let's say for me, this is a person who, likes to win or likes to be competitive in a situation where it's not win at any cost, but they're just generally trying to do better and improve and look at a situation and really find more than just a win for themselves, but a
Mhm.
win for the other person and a win overall for the future. So, I think those do come through in confidence. And are they confident in how, they're presenting themselves? So it's what they say. It's maybe their body language is huge, right? To have a really good team member, they've got to be kind of sitting up, their hands together, maybe talking with their hands, but not making it distracting, because how they're really, you got to, if you look at the little things, all these little things that we're talking about matter. And I
Mhm.
think there's times in building a good team that we're not looking at all these minute little things because we're so hopeful. We want to be so optimistic. This is a nice person. They're a good person. I think they're a good worker based on what I read on their resume. But when you really dive into it, is what is that interaction? How confident are they, based on their experience? And I like somebody who's confident, but I want them to have a history of being confident for sure.
Decision making comes into to those factors as well, and tell me if I'm jumping the gun on some of the response here, but you want employees that can make decisions, but you want to guide some of their decisions, but you don't want to have to guide all of their decisions,
hmm
right?
hmm I look at it, what I try to describe to people when the interview gets to me, we've usually had a telephone interview, we've had a face-to-face interview, and we've gone through, actually, we're now doing more assessments earlier, Chris, than we ever used to.
Hmm.
So we literally do 3 assessments before we have a face-to-face interview. If the resume and the cover letter look great, excellent. If the telephone interview, they sound really good on the phone, it's great interaction, good answers, we're going into assessments. We used to wait to do assessments before we hired. Now we're saying if these assessment scores on average between the three of them aren't in above the 50 percentile on all three or
Mhm.
better, we're not even going to have a face to face.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they do, then my office manager will have a face-to-face interview, and if the answers to those questions, which were a lot more in depth, make it to me, okay, now this is where I'm really getting into the decision making of, like, who is this person as it relates to some of the decisions, asking them really tough questions, because I don't want some people to be just a yes or no answer. I don't want them to make decisions willy-nilly. Sometimes people will.
Mhm.
I like to call it, Chris, to help people, is called interdependent. We want people that learn their job. They're never going to know it all, and
Mhm.
just realize you don't.
Yeah.
But can you find the answers? Can you look up the solutions?
Mhm.
Can you be independent, but also be reliant when you need help? Can you ask for help before it's too late, or did you wait too long to ask for help? So their decision making has to have a history in the past of doing that well. And then also, can I get it out of them? Are they consistently doing that today in their current work or family situation? And I'm pretty creative in asking some of those questions to see how good they are with the decisions that they're currently making. What is their thought process?
Mhm.
Do they create a list? Do they create like a Ben Franklin, like the pros and cons,
Mhm.
of whatever their situation that's a little more complex? Do they weight it? Some decisions need to be weighted.
Mhm.
Like, if this is a good thing, is it a really important good thing? And that should be weighted heavier than some of the smaller negative things, right?
Yeah.
So just trying to figure out how do they come about their decision making? Because that makes a difference with our teams and our people and our customers, and people know, they realize it pretty quickly on the quality of the people that they're dealing with. People can
Very,
see through it.
very good point there. We are talking with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance. Couple more points before we wrap up today. When it comes to surrounding yourself with potential staff members, with interviewing, with looking for that next person that really is going to represent your brand, your business,
hmm
be able
hmm
to, fill your shoes in some cases, and
hmm
um, there is also the factor of trying to reduce negativity because, and you mentioned this early on, we live and work now in an environment that um, sometimes it's tough to keep that individual or that staff together long term. Uh, People tend to, okay, maybe look for the next, and that's not, it's not new in the sense, but I think it's more common this day and age that that individuals are looking for that next big moment when it comes to their careers and their work environment. And I think people would bring that back to, loyalty, I guess, in that
Hmm.
sense as well. What about the reducing the negativity and going about that?
Yeah, I think there's an element for sure on people that have worked a long time at a company and working with people that have that history. And one of the things I've noticed about companies that differentiate it, and one of the things I notice about our area is that we're not necessarily really entrepreneurial in our market,
Mhm,
and that's okay. I think from my perspective, I like to be an entrepreneur. I like to do things creatively and really kind of evaluate things. Can we grow? And when you have the mindset of growing and doing things better and trying to earn new business and new markets, that's a challenge. It's a grind, Chris,
mhm,
to really be in that space as an owner, employer, entrepreneur. And in our West Michigan beautiful area I love dearly, we're pretty darn laid back people, right? We want to kind of do our jobs 100% and we
mhm,
want to kind of like this be done. And the State Farm model is, just to be quite honest with everyone listening, is we're number one largest auto insurer in the country. We
mhm,
are number one homeowner insurer in the country. We're number one with a number of life insurance policies out of any other life insurer in the country.
mhm,
And that takes a lot of focused effort from 19,200 State Farm agents across the
wow.
country.
Yeah.
We have a huge footprint. And so to grow, you have to have people that are willing to do that and to understand that month to month, year to
Mhm,
year. And I've found that in our platform, it's not built for everybody.
mhm,
Building a great team is trying to find those people who can, with us meeting with them, with us encouraging. I love to coach and I love to cheerlead. I have a really good manager. And so having those team members, can they maintain their positivity long term? And what I'm learning is to when I'm hiring is to take more time, take weeks,
mhm,
sometimes months to make the next hire. I
yeah.
want to know anything and everything about who this person is and make sure that the best fit for my customers, the chemistry between team members, and it's never going to be perfect and nobody walks on water.
Mhm,
But can I have the best, least negative people that can handle the grind of State Farm? State
mhm,
Farm is a good company, but we're grinding it out to keep our current customers
mhm.
and really do everything we can to continue to grow, to go deeper in households, take care of more needs, and to meet new people and bring them into the fold. And that takes certain unique people in
Yeah.
this business in our market.
And it sounds like prior to us going on the air that you have some very good potentials, very good team members that are joining, have agreed to come on board and close those gaps.
I'm very excited. I have a couple of new team members that have joined us recently, Joshua Lehman and Thomas Hinman. Tom Hinman, a lot of people know, and they have joined us, and we're very excited to get their one, the partially licensed, working on finalizing their license. We're deep in the middle of getting them trained and spending a lot of time in that space, empowering, giving them background, giving them context, understand how to really service well in our business, really help them with their skills and abilities to learn kind of our model, but also take their skills and gifts. And they're both great men that
Mhm,
I am very excited from their character, their background, their work ethic. These both are great families in the community
mhm.
that people know and love and trust. So I'm glad they're on our team. And I have a couple of more people joining us
Really?
next month
Good.
in August. And I can't mention their names yet, but these two people are is I'm as excited to have Josh and Tom as these two people coming. So we
Mhm.
are rebuilding and changing and just trying to maintain, taking care of our over 2,000 households and businesses that we
Oh,
serve
yeah.
in not only Mason County and the 5 county area, but all of Michigan. So
Hmm.
just trying to really have people that they really like and trust and get to know and are going to do a very good job.
Yeah, and the Erin Doan State Farm Insurance brand, it's an important brand, obviously to you, but
Hmm.
it should be for your staff members and your customers,
Hmm.
because there's a big factor of trust. There's a big factor of trust and expectation there as well. So,
Yes.
good information there. Erin, did we miss talking about something? And if not, people can reach out to you in multiple ways, and you can tell us all about that.
Yeah, I just think that just overall quality of life can improve as the better that we try to work on ourselves. We mentioned that at the beginning of our segment. Just us as employers, as managers, as bosses, just to try to continue to always work on yourself of being a better
Mhm.
in every area of life, and that improves the quality of life for our teams. And know that when we're looking for other people, we have to be that first. So, I'd love to talk to you more. If you're listening, or, my staff we're located between Ludington and Scottville. We're a half a mile east of Meyer on US 10. You can find us at ludingtoninsurance.com. And we would love to talk with you. If you're currently a customer, please do everything you can to give this team that I have a great chance to succeed. I am working really hard in this space to maintain the level of service and do things the right way, even in transition.
Mhm. Absolutely. It's an important message to ensure that the customers and potential customers know that as well. So, Aaron, we appreciate you always and your hard work and dedication and community commitment because I think that's important too. When you see,
Hmm.
that you are out and about and your team is out and about, and that interaction is important. So, congratulations on the new hires and moving forward strong.
Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it.
All right. It is 102.7 Mom FM and Hot Country Hits 99.9. And if you missed any part of this segment, you can always watch it in its entirety right there at our Facebook pages, WMOM or Hot Country Hits, and of course on YouTube. And don't forget, Facebook has the 30-day rule now of live videos. They'll disappear after the 30 days, but you can always go and hit the subscribe button at our YouTube channel and watch the video for years if you want, until
Forever. Yeah,
YouTube
let's hope so.
makes any adjustments there too. It is 102.7 Mom FM and Hot Country Hits 99.